Hello, welcome to Access. Today we're joined by Sebastian Enrique, who is the lead producer on FIFA 16. Really good to meet you, Sebastian. How are you?
Nice meeting you. I'm really good. So it's a really good show for us.
Yeah.
Feedback has been fantastic so far, so I'm really happy.
Fantastic stuff. Well, Dave and I have just had our first game on FIFA 16, and one of the first things that was apparent was we were Barcelona versus Real Madrid quite often. You play those teams, you get the speedy wingers, Ronaldo, Messi, Bale, and you're away. But this time, defenders seem to have much more available to them to combat that threat.
Yeah, for us, it's really important to see what the community thinks and what is the feedback from each year that we produce a game. And 15 is not like any different than that.
Yeah.
And the main piece of, I would say, negative feedback in gameplay when playing online, like a Cristiano Ronaldo, Bale were almost unstoppable.
Yeah.
So the dribbling felt a little bit overpowered in that sense. So the defending probably didn't have enough tools to be able to stop those players. So this year we made extreme focus on that. So we said, okay, we want a game that is balanced, but extremely balanced everywhere. And for doing that, we need to revamp defending everywhere, to really bring more tools for you to be able to defend any strategy, not just that. And really it paid off. So it paid off in such a way that it allowed us to innovate as well into the attack, like with no dribbling, with passing with purpose. The game is really sound all over the place.
You mentioned that you've innovated all over the pitch on FIFA. What do you mean by that? We talked about defending, but what do you mentioned passing as well and attacking options. What new options are there for that area?
So in the attacking, clinical finishing, what we did is we model much better what is the foot and the head and how they contact the ball. So we didn't read right, so we are working in physics every year on this thing, but we model much more accurate how is the contact. So the outcome that you have in the trajectories, the outcome of the headers, the shots, they feel much more rewarding when you hit it really well, and you understand better when you miss, but also refreshing the animations, the shooting animations. But the no-touch dribbling is really an innovation.
Yeah.
So we got inspired into Messi. So Messi, one of the best players in the world, if not the best. And how he dribbles, it's amazing. So he carries the ball, and without touching the ball, he's like doing body feints all the time, moving his body to leave the defenders behind. We started paying more attention to that and trying, so we watch football from all over the world, and we started flagging those situations where we were seeing players doing it. And it's not just Messi, it's not just Neymar, so they do it much more frequently with much more accuracy, they are really effective. But you go and watch a League 2 game, you will see somebody doing it. You will see somebody doing that. So we brought that into the game, so you have a modifier where you dribble the ball, and it's like you gotta learn how to use it and when to use it. But when you leave players behind just doing those feints, it feels amazing.
It's interesting what you said about League 2 football there, because quite often, one of the best ways to play FIFA is like a career mode, take a team from the bottom of League 2 up to the top of the Premier League, and you'll start off in League 2, and so it's interesting to think that, lower league players do have that kind of flair available to them now.
So they probably are not as effective as a Messi or as a Neymar, but you can still do it. So and it's in your skill with the control in doing it well as well.
And in the interest of balance, you mentioned you wanted to balance the game, and I guess it must be a challenge to think about how you make the defenders more, able to combat the threat of Ronaldo and Messi. But then Ronaldo and Messi are unbalanced players in real life. I mean, they come up against most defenders, and it's not a fair fight. So how do you make those players, while still being able to combat them, still feel special to control, still feel lightning quick and amazingly skillful?
It's a very interesting question, and it's fine-tuning.
Yeah.
It's extremely fine-tuning into, so the attributes that we assign to those players, but then how we use those attributes into the game. It's fine-tuning to make sure that they are not overpowered, but they feel, as you mentioned, special enough. So you can do stuff with those players that you cannot do with others, and it's much more difficult to stop them. But now we believe that we are providing enough tools so you don't get that feeling of those guys dribbling all the way to the box and with no option to doing anything, and even doing stuff in terms of defending for preventing, the other behavior that we saw in 15, a lot of just back and forth between the boxes. Really not being, so the midfield was a transit zone instead of a battle zone. So we wanted to come back to our roots of that battle zone, where you need to think how to assemble a play. And as part of that, so your defending changes or improvements, so defenders are much more intelligent into deciding when there is going to be a change of ball possession. So they come back much faster to position. They decide much better if they need to mark the space or the man. They are much more aggressive in terms of intercepting the ball. So it's interception intelligence, how we call it. But in addition to that, you have the new sliding tackle mechanic. Like sliding tackle was hit or miss. Like there was no gray areas. So people kind of stopped using it because it felt, okay, if I miss this, I'm done. So now we can branch out of the animation. So what does that mean? Is that you launch the tackle, and while you are still on the ground, you can press it again, the slide tackle button, and the player will immediately get up. So giving you more chances to defend those situations. So defending not just becomes really good, really balanced, but also much more rewarding when you defend those situations.
And I also noticed the AI in the defenders has improved, whereby they're marking space now. They're not just marking players. So what have you done to, team AI to make the players work more as a unit and not just go, running around after players?
It's a lot of artificial intelligence work, so I cannot get into all the details, but truly it's understanding. So the engines that we have a combination of technologies with the player impact engine, with the animation system, the step-based locomotion, and the job for us this year was primarily putting oil into all the joints between those subsystems and really making that game where you feel balanced, where you feel it solid all over the place. And by doing that, you continue refining and polishing all the different logics, the positioning and the marking logic, and that was part of it.
And I guess lots of different players will have lots of different play styles on FIFA, as the teams have different play styles. Barcelona are very strong, passing the ball. Real Madrid are very quick and powerful. Atletico Madrid very solid in defence. How do you go about enabling people to emulate their favourite style of play? You can run with it quickly, but can you control games in midfield by passing it around and keeping possession if you've got smaller, more technical players as well?
It's all part of our positioning system primarily. That is how we utilize the tactics that each team comes in the database that we use in real life. But in addition to that, you have the mentality. With the mentality, you can park the bus, you can go all to attack, and it's basically it's more of the work that we continuously do. That is refining, making better use of the attributes. It's fine-tuning all over the place. And this year, I think we got it really, really well. I don't want to be pedantic or any of that, but I encourage everyone to try it out. I'm extremely happy how the game feels right now.
Fantastic. And for me personally, I'm a Crystal Palace fan, so one of the big thrills for me is to be able to take my team and have that authenticity of the Premier League. It feels like you're watching Sky Sports. You've got all the Premier League stadiums in there. How are you continuing that authenticity and that polish in terms of the presentation for FIFA 16?
So for the Premier League in particular, you have the three stadiums of the teams that got promoted, like Norwich, Bournemouth, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Bournemouth,
But well, so the three teams, the three promoted teams stadiums are there. We scanned more heads. We're producing more heads, so we keep the authenticity because a lot of players move out, a lot of players move in, but we're doing more than 100 faces, new faces for the Premier League. So we have new chants everywhere, more than 900 chants overall the entire game. I don't know exactly how many for the Premier League, but we continuously refine that. Then we have better storylines. So if you have a transfer that is happening in real life, you have that appear in the game, or a records, team records. So maybe, you're playing with City, and City has the best goal record at home, and it will show on screen. So really a lot of storylines, commentary, supporting all of that. Much more new chants. Then players, you can go and celebrate now with the camera. You can go and celebrate with the subs. And so we're starting to bring that level of authenticity outside the Premier League as well. So in the Bundesliga this year, so we have all the Bundesliga graphics. So when you play Bundesliga, you will feel as well that is if you were watching on TV.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time, Sebastian. The game's looking really, really special this year. It's FIFA 16. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think of the game. And don't forget to subscribe, as we've still got loads more coming from Gamescom.